What's up, everyone? Happy Saturday. Mr. Dead Stew, what's up? Teasing Pigeon, Open Wall Productions, Trek Bros, Morrow. What's going on, everyone? Can everyone see me and hear me? Rusty, what's going on, Rusty? Bill, Jamie, Matt. Live, but you're trying to watch DS9 Paradise. All right, well, hey, if you want to skip out on this live to go watch that reaction, I won't blame you. Or if you want to stay here and watch the reaction later, I don't blame you either way. The fact that you're essentially 3 months or so ahead of us does make the whole first watch thing kind of redundant. I'm not sure what that means. Redundant in what way? Also, I think 3 months is a little bit much. Congrats on finishing the show. Thank you, Jeremiah. And also, you talked about being ahead of you guys on YouTube. So we are not taking breaks anymore between regular seasons. So, like, for example, when we finish DS9 Season 3, Voyager Season 1, we'll jump right in to the next one. I think we'll take a 1 week for the lists and everything. But when we finish a show, like we just finished TNG, we are taking an extended break. So the amount of time that we are ahead right now of watching it and on Patreon via YouTube, which is, quite a while, that will get caught up, when we take that break. Now, there will still be a break on the YouTube side as well, but I think we'll be a little bit less ahead than we have been. It did get quite ahead because I fell behind with YouTube edits a couple months ago with just personal stuff I had going on and channel stuff and getting used to doing this full time. So more X-Files, please. More X-Files is coming. I say it at the beginning of the next X-Files reaction, but we have decided, based on the reception of it, that we are going to continue to watch it weekly throughout the rest of the year up to our holiday break. The week of Christmas, basically. So that'll take us to episode 13. We have already watched through episode 10. So we will watch through episode 13, which is just about halfway through the season, and then going into 2026, we'll decide how we want to move forward. And what I mean by that is basically we will move forward in some way. It's just a matter of, do we want to just say, screw it, commit to watching the entire thing, or commit to at least finishing the first season? Decide if we want to add in anything extra like separate discussions or patron takes like we do for TNG. All of those things will be decided then. But unless it completely falls off a cliff, I think it's probably safe to say we will at least commit to watching the full first season based on the reception thus far. It's been really good. And at this point, we've also had people signing up to Patreon saying, hey, I'm either here for both Star Trek and X-Files, or I'm not, a few people, I'm not really a Star Trek fan, but I'm here for X-Files. So that's the best kind of feedback we can get. At some point, Josh and Alex will need to get a booth at Comic-Con next to a Star Trek, next to the Star Trek cast would be crazy. But what I would say is that Alex and I will be in Columbus first weekend of December for the GalaxyCon. Alex is wrestling at it, like the videos he's done in the past when he wrestles at the GalaxyCons, and I will be going to my first ever GalaxyCon, not wrestling, but just I bought a ticket. I'm a fan, and Brent Spiner's going to be there, Gates McFadden's going to be there, William Shatner's going to be there, a whole bunch of people from Twilight, which my wife will enjoy meeting, and there's actually, it's like the people there is pretty stacked if no one backs out. So if you happen to be in the Columbus area, we will be there. But no type of official target audience presence. No, Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart don't really do any Twilight-related things. I don't think they have bigger careers, obviously. Finally, I can talk Sub Rosa with Gates. Yeah, I've never been to a Comic-Con, so like Alex told me his experiences of meeting them and how he talks to them, like when you get to meet them. I don't know how any of that works. I've never done anything like a con, so I don't know what kind of opportunity you have. I don't know if I want to spend my 10 seconds I get to talk with Gates McFadden about Sub Rosa, but I would love to bring it up and be like, hey, the hate is crazy. I'm seeing some questions roll in about All Good Things. I will talk about, in a very general sense, the episode, but I'm not going to get too specific into our reactions or anything like that. It's going to be going up on Patreon tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, will be early access. So the target demographic and bridge crew tiers, the two higher tiers, they get the reactions one day earlier. And then our first tier audience member, that'll go out on Monday, the following day. Reaction discussion as one video, patron takes as a separate video because we did so many, but they'll both be released tomorrow for early access, and then Monday. That's the full watch-along version. And then obviously it'll come to YouTube eventually. Thank you, Paul, so much for the super chat. Your All Good Things cinematic trailer is just about the best thing ever. Great job. Well, thank you so much, Paul. For anyone unaware, over on Patreon, I post all of those cinematic trailers that I do. I post them early, basically as soon as I finish them on Patreon, and they are public posts. So if you go to our Patreon page, even if you're not a member, those are public. There's a few other, like this post, for example, this live stream over there is public. Like, there's a number of public posts that you don't even have to sign up for, or you can sign up for free and get notified of them too. But those are all over there. So I have trailers up right now for All Good Things just posted, but there's ones up for masks. Not masks. I should make one for masks. But for Genesis, Blood Oath. Am I missing any that haven't come out yet on YouTube? I think those might be the only other two. Thank you so much, Monty, for the $10 super chat. I do have a goal in here, just something I figured I'd try. If we do hit the goal, I'll release an extra Star Trek reaction here to YouTube this week. I'll go 4 reactions Monday through Thursday to get an extra episode. Try to catch up a little bit on the YouTube side. If we don't hit the goal, no big deal. Just something I figured I'd throw out there and try. But oh, the crossover. Thank you, Kimberly. Yeah, crossover. I really enjoyed making that one, actually. I'm mad at myself. I forgot that one. And then just to keep everyone updated, so this past week we watched All Good Things. We are done with TNG, the series. We still have to watch the final 2 episodes that aired after that of DS9 Season 2. We are going to be watching those this upcoming week. So no spoilers, please. The last DS9 episode we watched was The Collaborator, episode 24. So that's where we're at. And we are finishing that before our break. So we're going to watch those 2 episodes this upcoming week. And then the following week, we're going to do probably like our TNG and DS9 lists for best of that season. And then I think Thanksgiving is after that, so I'm not 100% sure of our schedule that week. But then we'll be jumping into, when it comes to Star Trek, a mix of kind of unique special reactions, and then, not the journey, but just other Star Trek reactions. And then also things like best of lists for all of TNG, retrospective discussion on TNG. We might do some extra live streams on YouTube for tier listing the whole show, tier listing characters, things like that. So expect all that kind of extra retrospective type content in the next couple of months. And if that's not your thing, we'll be jumping back into the journey with Deep Space Nine Season 3 within a matter of weeks. You should make a trailer for Preemptive Strike. That's definitely one that I feel like I'll probably make a trailer for it closer to the YouTube release. There's kind of 2 different timelines. Some of them, I watch the episode and I have some type of inspiration because of something in the episode to make that trailer right away. And those go up on Patreon before even the Uncuts do a lot of times. And then there are ones, like Whispers, the Pegasus. I made those trailers the week of them coming out on YouTube. So I think Preemptive Strike could be another one that I'm like a trailer for. Also, the Maquis 2-parter. I've been doing trailers for all the 2-parters, so I kind of want to make one for that as well. But I have to find music and stuff. However, trailer for Preemptive Strike should just be Picard being way too close to Ro. Yeah, absolutely. But I am actually going to be attempting to work on a trailer with you guys on this live. I already have it kind of set up here for Profit and Loss, the DS9 episode. So I haven't started editing it yet. I just have my music track in there and the episode footage. So I might get to that eventually. We'll see how this live goes. If you guys are sending in a bunch of super chats, a bunch of questions, I want to prioritize that. But if things kind of die down, then we can start editing that. Now I'm going to have to be careful because I have to make sure not to get copyrighted, so I can't just sit here and like play that whole episode or the song I'm using, you know. So I have to be careful there. But a trailer for The Wire. That one would be interesting, but The Wire is such a dialogue-heavy type episode that, you know, it definitely can be done. But in terms of, like, the visual aspect, I'd have to see. Because there's a lot that goes into which episodes get the trailers. People just think, like, oh, if this episode we thought was amazing, S tier, one of the best of the season, then, you know, we're going to make a trailer. That could be the case, but it goes into a, you know, like, I didn't love the two-parter Gambit, but it was a two-parter, and I felt it deserved a trailer. Like, you know, a lot goes into it. Profit and Loss, you know, we'll see how that goes. I thought it'd be a fun one to do a little bit more of like almost like a romance-type trailer. It was my inspiration, so we'll see if that works. It might not. I might abandon it. Thank you very much, Webb, for the super chat. Appreciate it. I switched over to I'm a big energy drink guy, which is not good, but I don't drink like full sodas or anything, but I drink, you know, the zero sugar energy drinks, and so I switched over to Reign recently. I got a sour gummy worm. This one's pretty good. But I got it in a variety pack, and it came with orange dreamsicle and one called White Haze. I don't even know what that is. Probably similar to a White Monster would be my guess. Thank you so much, Headrock, for the super chat. I don't know what kind of currency that is, but thank you. Clarifying, you've watched Collaborators. I think you mean The Collaborator. I don't know what your reaction was yet. I can't interact with you about it. In 3 months, it'll be irrelevant. Okay, I think you're talking about your earlier message about how far ahead we are with the watch. I guess I can understand that. When you say you can't interact with me about it, I'm assuming you mean here on this live stream. Yeah, so I see your point. I mean, in terms of the YouTube comments, you know, obviously you can still comment on the videos. I read all the comments. And then if you want to get that upfront, you know, more direct interaction, that's what the Patreon takes are for. If you're not over on Patreon, can't afford the Patreon, totally understand, but that's what that is for. So we have more interaction with our audience than not only any other reaction channel, but I think 90+% of YouTube channels. So The Traveler's Travels, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for being a member of the channel as well. SG1, haha, just trolling and helping meet the goal. Well, thank you very much for the super chat. SG1 is on that list, man. It's on the list of post Star Trek, you know, sci-fi for sure. And that list is pretty short. I'm not saying it's on the list like there's 18 other series. I mean, the list, I'm going to see if I can name everything off the top of my head as far as post Star Trek sci-fi, basically is SG1, Babylon 5, and Farscape. Are the three I would say off the top of my head. And then if we have the balls, then maybe going back to trying Battlestar Galactica again. But that's all post Star Trek. And when I say post Star Trek, I mean Enterprise. Once we get to the movies and all the new stuff, that, in my opinion, is post Star Trek. We're still going to do all that, but it's not going to be, I'm not expecting there to be as much of you guys on every single video interested in that stuff. Maybe I'm wrong. Then back to Buffy, yeah, over Alex's dead body. Maybe I'll watch Buffy on my own one day on the channel. Red Dwarf reaction was one of the best you've ever done. Episode 2, please. Well, you've never seen our reaction because I never uploaded it, but the video, yeah, was quite entertaining. Regarding BSG, so you're telling me there's a chance. Yeah, because I think Ronald Moore through TNG was just so great. I mean, we started BSG right after we watched The Bonding, and we were so excited. Like, oh, this is Ronald Moore? This is the BSG guy? And then we watched that first season and we're like, oh, okay. And like we liked it. We liked the first season. But you know, we watched the pilot and we go, Yeah, all right. I mean, yeah, that was a fine episode, a fine pilot. Not really a pilot. They had the movie, the miniseries, but the first episode, I think it was called 33. And we watch it go, okay, yeah, I mean, that's all right. Alex didn't really care for it that much. And then we get online and it's like 33, the best first episode of a television series ever. And it's like, oh, okay. And then, people are freaking out. So it's like, all right. Did you guys ever watch Quantum Leap? We watched the first season and didn't continue. One, because of the reception, and two, also just because the whole show was kind of based around each episode having a pop culture reference. And I think out of the 10 or so episodes we watched, we caught or understood like two of the references. And even the references we did catch, like Watergate or something, we just went, oh yeah, okay, that's a real thing. So our reactions varied from, oh yeah, that's a real thing that I've heard about, to what's that? And it just, again, frustrated people every time. So I think it's an odd show to want someone that's of my generation or younger to watch, because the whole thing kind of hinges on you getting it. So there were definitely still some quality episodes of that first season outside of the references. What do you think of the new Lego TNG set? I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Um, we entered a sweepstakes to see if we can. They're doing a sweepstakes for one signed by Jonathan Frakes. If I don't win that, which obviously the chances would be low, I would assume, then I do plan to buy it. Anthony, thank you for the super chat. When will you guys upload your reaction to Deep Space Nine Season 3? If you're talking Patreon, it'll be beginning of January. YouTube, undetermined at this point the exact timeline, but I would say January in general. Just a little bit later in January, most likely. Cobrin, I will stick with you guys for all of Trek, regardless of my feelings on a particular episode or series. Based. W. Cobrin, longtime patron. Appreciate that. What do you think of Doctor Who? Never seen it. I know a number of actors that I like have been in it at some point, but never seen it. What are your thoughts on the Orville? Never seen it. Outside of clips and imagery, and I think I saw a clip of a joke about cigarettes or something at one point. But I'm a big Family Guy fan, Seth MacFarlane fan. Seth MacFarlane fan, hit or miss. I like the first Ted. I think A Million Ways to Die in the West is like one of the biggest pieces of shit ever. Okay. Okay. Whoa, calm down. Yeah, Lego Enterprise is $400. Yeah. Tom, thank you so much for the super chat. You were right about vanilla versus chocolate. What about chicken versus steak? I would. That's a good question. I want to just first instinct say chicken. There's variety, there's versatility, high in protein. Simple. I think that's one of those higher floor, lower ceiling. The best steak you're ever going to have is going to be better than the best chicken you're ever going to have, but chicken's more dependable, and it's less likely someone's going to mess up your chicken. Is that fair? Cybear, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm loving watching y'all's journey through Star Trek. Very excited about you watching Stargate. I appreciate that very much. Again, Stargate not confirmed or anything at this point, but that would be fun. We did watch one episode as well as the original movie. Movie reactions are over on the Patreon, full watch along, and then the first episode reactions on YouTube. Thank you, though, for that super chat. Appreciate it. Would a $20 donation get you to react to SG1's pilot? No. I mean, I appreciate any donation for sure, but $20, I mean, let me just explain everything that goes into any reaction we would do. We record 3 days a week, so that right there's limited spots for what we can do in that time, and we record 3 to 4 hours per evening. Alex has a real job full time. I just left my job in the summer because now my job is this. So when I'm not recording, I'm doing something like this live stream or editing or anything up to about 60 hours a week. And then so that limits what we have to record. Mandatory stuff we have to react to. Star Trek, obviously every single week, multiple episodes, the discussions of Patron Takes. We have The Expanse that we have to watch exclusively for Patreon. Things we've added in ourselves, like The X-Files and The Horror Gallery. Okay? And then we have movie reaction requests where people sign up to our highest tier on Patreon annually and we watch whatever movie they want, not Star Trek. So all of that right there we have to get through before we can even do anything extra. So unfortunately, no, a $20 donation would not get that. But a lot of people have requested for, because the annual Bridge Crew, it comes with a lot of perks. It's not just the movie reaction. It comes with all the perks of that high tier. But people have requested, instead of a movie, to do a TV show reaction request. And my only problem with that, is that, like you said, the pilot, I might have to limit it to pilots because we don't want someone to pay and have us watch the series finale of a show, or watch a random episode in season 7. So that's my only fear. But then limiting it to pilots then limits the appeal, how many people are going to want to request that. And then there's also always going to be the hope we can be as clear as we want. All we're doing is watching this pilot. There's always going to be the hope that whatever that request is, we fall in love with that show and watch more. So I've always stayed away from it. Robert, thank you so much for the super chat. So happy you and Alex are getting to see DS9 slowly maturing into the juggernaut it becomes. DS9 has a special place for me, and I can't wait for you guys to experience it in all its glory. Great channel. Well, thank you so much, Robert. I appreciate that. And I'm very excited as well. I've talked about it in a lot of the recent reactions that haven't yet hit YouTube, but in the discussions I've talked about how I feel like DS9, it's done something that none of the other shows have yet, where TOS was episodic right from the jump, whatever. TNG, it took like a season and a half to get the characters to even be like good, characters. DS9 got its characters down immediately, and we've just spent 2 seasons of a TV show with a bunch of characters that we really, really like, and in a show that sometimes is really good. So it's like, I just feel like it's done a really good job setting that up to where hopefully as we get into season 3, it's like, okay, now let's make the show also really awesome. And we already have all these amazing characters. As for TNG was a little bit of the opposite. It took them so long to set up their characters. And then by the time they got to season 3, they started having amazing episodes, but still the characters needed to grow. And I feel like season 4 is really the first time where it's like, okay, now we have great characters, let's have great episodes. That's what season 4 was. That's why that was so great. Stumbled a little bit in season 5 in my opinion, but still had great episodes, still built their characters up, so that by the time we got to season 6, it eventually culminated in the best season of Star Trek thus far in my opinion. And season 7 I thought has been really good too, because the strength of season 7 has been that all of the characters are in their peak for the most part. So even with episodes that sometimes the stories aren't the best, you have your characters in their peak form. Has anyone suggested that you post the missing uncut TOS reactions? Yeah, you have, Richard. And I know Webb, Bridge Crew member, has as well. I'm working on them. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming. Like I said, we were just a couple weeks away from me not having to edit three Star Trek reactions for Patreon every single week. The YouTube edits obviously will still be a thing, but like that time that I'm going to be able to get, it takes me roughly 3 to 4 hours when you think about everything included to do those. So all that free time, it's going to be able to, a lot more stuff's going to be able to get done. A lot of stuff I've been kind of on the back burner, like the P.O. Box videos, a lot of stuff like that should be hopefully getting all cleared up by the end of the year. The Expanse edits, because the Expanse on Patreon also gets through, gets edited reactions, and so far we're only up to season 2, episode 4. Even though we started season 4 on the Patreon. So, Editing time is consuming. It absolutely is, man. I mean, I honestly look back. I don't know how I worked full time and got out the content. I know there were times I had delays and there were times I didn't, and our pace was slower. But even with that slower pace and doing 2 a week and all that, I look back and I'm like, how was I doing all this and working full time? Because now I did work hybrid, and my days at home, I basically just edited. I basically just edited. But I'm seriously sitting here at this computer like 60 hours a week. Like, I don't understand how I did it. And, it'd be great if I could just get an editor, but we're not at that point, unfortunately, especially on the YouTube side, because our YouTube videos, it's not the income driver, unfortunately. We're not a huge channel. So, all right, got a few more Super Chats. And just want you guys to know that this goal, it is set up for yellow Super Chats. So, just when it comes to American currency, that is $10. So, I want to thank everybody for the Super Chats, but I just wanted to say, if you are, if you put in a Super Chat, you're wondering why the goal is not going up, that is why. So, but Piano Dean, thank you so much. Are more X-Files dropping soon? Yeah, I did, if you go back to the beginning of the stream, I talked about that more in detail, but the short answer is yes. They're going to continue on Fridays every week on YouTube and uncut reactions on Tuesdays every week through the rest of the year, which will take us to episode 13. Sid Hartha, thank you so much for the super chat. Having now finished TNG and being almost through season 2 of Deep Space Nine, do you think DS9 will surpass the heights of TNG? Any predictions for DS9 moving forward? I think that in general, my expectation / prediction is that as a whole, as a through line of a show, I think DS9, in my opinion, has the potential to end up stronger than TNG when it comes to a series as a collective. Because TNG is basically, it's episodic almost 100%. It's basically a collection of 180 different episodes with some callbacks and through lines sprinkled in. So I think DS9 has the opportunity to be better at that, but I prefer episodic TV over serialized, and I think that the highs of TNG are the best television I've ever seen. So to surpass something like Lessons or Iborg or The Bonding or The Defector, like it's gonna be tough for Deep Space Nine, but I hope it can do it. Because of the first 2 seasons we've seen up to this point, I don't know if there's any episode we've seen that beats any of those that I just named from TNG. But we're only in season 2, so. Necessary Evil is high up there, but even that one, yeah. I think my highest DS9 episode might not crack my top 10 overall of Star Trek at this point, through the first 2 seasons, but it's a tough list. Maddie J, thank you so much for the super chat. Hey, now that you've watched TNG and have the complete picture, where does TNG place in your all-time TV series? Number 1. I like to think that, I like to just say Star Trek, but I know that's kind of cheating. Like, if someone asked me what's my favorite show of all time, I'd just say Star Trek. But if you really had to make me choose, yeah, it's TNG. And then number 2 is Arrested Development. TNG doesn't come close to DS9 at its best. Wow. Bob Loblaw. You gotta check out Bob Loblaw's Law Blog. Speaking of the channel, did you guys notice on YouTube, I don't know, maybe, I'm assuming it's not just me, but now if you go to someone's YouTube, at least on mobile, which is how I use YouTube, I don't use my TV or computer really often, you no longer see people's subscribers. So like if you click on our video, for example, underneath like where the channel is under the video, it used to show the subscribers there, 20K or whatever. Now it's not there anymore. And then if you actually click on the channel, which if I click on mine, it's just going to take me to my live, unfortunately. But then if you go to the channel, it then lists the subscribers on the channel. But I thought that was very interesting. And I think reflexively as a YouTuber, you look at that and go, whoa, why'd they do that? Wait a minute, I don't like changes. But then when I think about it more, I go, I can actually see why that kind of makes sense. Because people subconsciously put a value on you based on your subscriber count, and that's not necessarily fair. There are some of my favorite YouTube channels that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers or millions, and there are some of them that are very small like us. So I don't hate it, but I would never want them to get rid of it completely. Like, I would never want them to get rid of it like on the channel. You should still be able to find it. But maybe it doesn't need to be, in your face. You find a YouTube channel and you're recommended, and you click on it to watch it. Maybe you don't need to know, oh, this person only has 300 subscribers. They must not be that good, Also, I'm pretty sure you do have the option on YouTube to hide your own if you want. I would never do that. I don't know why someone would, but that is a thing. If you guys edit some of the movies you watch for YouTube, you would get a lot more views. Yeah, man, I've tried and I've thought about it, but I mean, we are going to be doing Galaga soon. That's going to be something that's coming, and we'll see. But if you look at our channel, I mean, we don't do it all the time, so I understand that it's not a regular thing people come here for. But if you look at our, you sort by most popular. Like, the only movie reaction that's not Star Trek that did well at all was Galaxy Quest, and that's basically Star Trek. So it's like, you try to look through, I'm just scrolling through right now to see what the first movie even is that comes up. And again, I fully admit we haven't done a lot of them, but we have done a number of them. And, you look here, I'm still scrolling. I'm under 20K now, still going. I just passed Duet. Passing The Nth Degree, still no movies. The Child from TNG Season 2. I mean, I'm passing all of these, still no movie. And I mean, we've done a number of movie reactions. I guess this would technically be the highest one. Dr. Horrible's Sing-Along Vlog is technically a movie. That has 17,000 views. So, and that was like years ago, so that obviously grew views over time. So I'm not trying to say it wouldn't work, but the mindset that sometimes people tell us, oh, well, if you edit this movie, you're going to get 100,000 views. I just don't really think that our channel is really built for that at this point. But I'm okay with that. I'm totally, as in the reaction niche, it's really not about views unless you're like one of the top, very top people in terms of like smashing views. Like, our video is never going to smash views. It's all about just you guys. It's about, the community. As long as the community is alive, Gary, thank you so much for the super chat. Much love to you both. So happy I chose to be a patron a while back. What are your hopes for the next Star Trek series you're going to react to? Well, thank you so much. The next one would be Voyager, and I got the box set right behind me. What? And clearly there's I don't know anything about the show, but it looks like a ship on the box set. So I hope that it's back on a ship and get something fun. I know nothing about the plot. What editing platform do you use? Thank you, Jason, for the super chat. I use for all of our regular type videos, DaVinci Resolve, which is actually a free platform. I bought Final Cut Pro back in 2018 when I got my first Mac, and I think it was $300, and I used that all the way up until about 2023. And then a patron of ours, his name's Skipper, told me about DaVinci Resolve, and it was free, and it has color correction and a lot of other tools that Final Cut Pro doesn't even have. So I downloaded it for free. Now, there is a premium version you can buy of DaVinci Resolve, but I downloaded the free one. I've been using that. It's great, have almost no issues, and it's free. So that's what I use. And then that works on Windows and Mac and Linux and whatever you have, from my understanding. And then as far as the only other thing I use, which is for all the trailers I do, I use CapCut, because CapCut has a lot of tools that are good for those type of edits, like voice isolation and different things like that I use in those edits that I can't do in DaVinci Resolve. So I use CapCut, and that is $10 a month for the premium. However, I am considering on the thumbnail side. I've always used Photoshop, always paid $10 a month for Photoshop. And I just learned about Canva, which I had tried Canva in the past as a free thing, and it's fine, whatever. But I guess they just purchased something called Affinity, and then they released it for free. And it's basically a Photoshop competitor, but it's free. So I was thinking about trying that out, seeing if I can save $10 a month, because I'm not the best. I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not I'm not amazing with Photoshop. You guys can tell from my thumbnails, they're pretty basic. I'm not that great. So if I can, save $10 a month for something that can do all the same type of, just coloring and outlines and stuff like that, then I might do that. Generations was actually released in November 1994, from my understanding. 20K subscriber special is coming. It is coming. We're going to film it in the next few weeks. It'll probably come in December, would be my guess. My guess. Is there one DS9 episode guest character you hope comes back in Season 3? Guest character? I mean, I could say Garrick, but would he be considered a guest at this point? I would say anyone that's already on the station, like that, a Barkley type that you assume is already on the station, I wouldn't even count as a guest. So like Jake, Nog, Garrick, Rom, those aren't like guests in my opinion. I assume they will be there because nothing has happened for them to leave the station. So with that being said, the only other big one would be obviously Gul Dukat. I mean, if Gul Dukat's not there, then what the hell are they doing? Keiko would be another one that I assume is on the station. Molly. Loving X-Files, by the way. Love it. Love the feedback. That's what we need to know. I mean, if you look at it, from a view, I said this a little bit earlier, but from a views perspective, it's dropping every week. When you look at it from that standpoint of just the YouTube edits, you go from 15,000 views to 8 to 7 to 6 to 5 to 4 to, the last one was just uploaded yesterday but has 3.5. So, I mean, they're dropping from that point, but as long as we keep getting high engagement on them and people signing up for the Patreon for them and stuff, then, it'll continue. And I would assume at some point it also has to bottom out in terms of how many views it's getting. I just don't know what that bottom is yet. So I figured maybe the one I just uploaded would be the bottoming out because it doesn't seem to be a strong one. But in terms of the quality of the episode, of people wanting us to watch, like that specific episode. But I know next episode is more highly praised. So I'm hoping to see, because like with Star Trek, you can kind of tell. It's like, okay, this episode has this opinion from the mass audience, so it's gonna do better or worse than other ones. X-Files, we're not that far in yet to be able to know that, but I think next week with Ice, episode 8, will be the first time maybe I could tell. Now, if that Ice video comes out and it still is dropping in views, then there's probably, that's something, a little bit of a red flag in that case. So, we'll see. Any TNG characters you hope show up on DS9 as a guest? Honestly, no. Not in the way of like, oh man, I really hope this. It's more of how I was about TOS characters in TNG, where I'm not going to hope for it, but I'm also open to it. So like, I'm not like, man, really hoping this person shows up, but it's more so like, oh, this person showed up, awesome, let's see what they do with it. I'm not against it. It's just I want to focus on these characters, I will say, though, that if there was one that I was like, it'd be awesome if they showed up again, is obviously my favorite character, Deanna Troi. Thank you so much, Wonder Boy Coz, for the super chat. Corey Patton from Patreon here. Oh, what's up, Corey? Having a rough mental health time, but your reactions continue to be a highlight of my week. Thanks to both of you for the laughs and your thoughts on my favorite show. Well, thank you so much, Corey. Sorry you're going through that time. Rough mental health time. Sorry about that. I'm glad we can somehow be some type of highlight, to you. I do appreciate that, and I'm right there with you. In terms of, the mental stuff. I'm okay, but it's been a little bit rough for me recently too, and so I appreciate that. Badger, thank you and Alex for inviting us on your journey. You make me laugh, cry, and feel part of a great community of people. You both made a great baby. Well, thank you so much, Badger. I appreciate that. And thank you for all of your very sometimes disturbing but enjoyable AI creations that you make in the Breach Crew Discord. Sometimes I look at them and go, that's interesting. But I appreciate them. Katie says, Deanna Troi is my favorite TNG character too. My younger sister was actually named after her character. Wow. Your sister was named Deanna Troi. No, but that's awesome. So your parents were TNG fans, I assume? What if they weren't? What's up, Kid Lee? If X Files craters on YouTube, is there an option that remains Patreon only? I am so anxious that awesomeness won't last. So I would say with X Files, it has. How can I put it? If there was something that was going to be eliminated from the channel because of views, the horror gallery would go away before X Files. So that's one thing I would say in terms of views and things going away. And the horror gallery was created purely as just something we want to do because we were having trouble finding any other series that we enjoyed outside of Star Trek. And we said, we're going to do the horror gallery and we don't care if anyone watches it. And that's still the case. But finding X-Files and actually really loving it thus far, I'm not planning on getting rid of the horror gallery at all. But if there ever was a time to be like, hey, we don't have time, it's not worth it, we got to move on, X-Files would take that spot of the horror gallery of, hey, look, not that many people are watching this, but we just really enjoy it. So as long as we continue to enjoy it, I don't think it would go away completely. In terms of you're saying from going from YouTube to just Patreon, maybe that's a possibility, but that's something that, we'd have to cross that bridge. We're not at that point. We're not close to that point. So I'm not worried at this point. So I'm not going to make any promises, but I would just say anytime in the near future, I don't see X-Files going away, I guess is how I would put it, unless like we dive into the show and, late season 1, early season 2, we're like, whoa, this isn't at all what we liked early on. We don't like this, but I just don't see that happening. Gary, thank you for another super chat. Hey Josh, if you could take over and be any TNG character from the start, who would that be, bro? I appreciate the bro at the end of it. Any TNG character from the start. I assume you're just meaning like the start of the series. I'll think on that for just a moment. Jesse, thank you so much for the super chat. No question for you, just here to provide support. Though I do have the second Wonder Boy sentiment. Looking forward to reaction has got me through some pretty rough and stressful days. Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate the super chat. Thank you for all your support, and obviously Patreon as well. And the fact that we can do that for anybody is still something that I have trouble, kind of wrapping my mind around. So thank you very much. And also, Jesse's a Bridge Crew member, and we're going to be watching the film Being There very soon, within the next couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. So thank you for being an annual member too. Okay, so TNG character from the start. If I could take over, as in like I'm like role playing as them in the show. If I'm main character, obviously the closest comparison is just like Riker, adult man. Although, you know what? Maybe this would be a cheat, but how about I could be the chief? Because that way I get to be on the Enterprise, and then I also get to go over and be on Deep Space Nine. And I'm not like a super main character, so yes, I am in danger sometimes, but I'm mostly just pretty chill on my own. He probably has a lot of off time to, and he marries Keiko, so. X-Files is being edited too heavily for YouTubers to get into it. Yeah, highly disagree. I mean, if that's the case, then just YouTube edits just aren't going to work for it. I mean, there's no way. If you look at our X-Files reactions, those reaction parts of the video are, close to, if not 20 minutes every single episode. The show is 44 minutes. So in terms of being edited heavily, I mean, you look at some of our Star Trek reactions, and they might be 10 minutes, 12 minutes, on average. The X-Files reaction edits have been way longer because we're just reacting more, So if that's if what they are right now is too heavily edited, then an edit's never going to work anyway. And again, just to reiterate, I'm not speaking for every reaction channel, obviously. People can do whatever they want. But in terms of the target audience, you're watching our videos to watch us react to something. You're not coming here to watch the show. If that's what you want to do, go watch the show. Pre-watching X-Files ahead of the reaction, that's always a good thing to do, you know, for YouTube, obviously. I would say for a YouTube edited reaction, this is just me personally. When it comes to a show or movie, I would never watch a reaction for something that I haven't seen if I want to get the full picture of that thing. Because the reaction is not a replacement for watching it. That's basically one of the core fundamentals of fair use. So I would watch a reaction to something I haven't seen if I'm curious about that thing. Like, oh, maybe this is something I would like. I'll see them react to it. These are people that I like. Do they like it? But I would never go in expecting I'm going to watch these YouTube edited reactions of a show I haven't watched and think that that's me watching the show. So that would be my advice on that. So whether you watch it on your own, or you sign up to Patreon and sync up your own copy and watch it along with us, or you just don't watch our videos. Any of those are good. Siddhartha, thank you for the super chat. Any 90s celebrity cameos you'd like to see in Trek? That's a good question. How about a John Stamos cameo? How about this is where you're going to tell most of my 90s TV watching is all sitcoms. How about a Jaleel White cameo? A Steve Urkel cameo? On Deep Space Nine. How does he get there? He figures out a way. But this is Paramount, so it'd be CBS. So my knowledge of what was on CBS or owned by CBS is much less. Blaine, thank you so much for the super chat. Longtime watcher, Blaine Mather. Appreciate it. Longtime patron, longtime watcher. Josh, Trek fan who was enjoying the X-Files here. Am I hurting the prospects of more reactions by only watching the reactions on Patreon and not a second time on YouTube? I would say no, in the sense of you're not hurting it because you're on Patreon and watching them on Patreon. And Patreon engagement is something that I watch just as much as YouTube engagement. So like just for an example, The Expanse, right? Now, The Expanse we are watching because that is the Bridge Crew vote. So the Bridge Crew tier, those people get to vote on a show for us to watch only on Patreon. So that, like, we have no choice in that matter, right? I'm not going to cancel that. But just as an example, I posted Season 4, Episode 2 and 4, or 2 and 4, Episode 1 and 2. They went out to everyone yesterday at Patreon. Engagement on that is almost non-existent. So I don't know if people are watching that or not, but I'm, in my mind, you know, that's already accounted for because it's the Bridge Crew vote, so it kind of gets a pass. But if this was something that we just decided to watch on our own, and like I put this up, I would really have no interest in continuing it based on that engagement, even though it's Patreon. Now, something like a one-off movie, that's obviously different. It's a one-off movie. But if we were doing the X-Files, so like, just to compare, I look back at the last X-Files uncut reaction, huge engagement. Like, the only thing that's higher on engagement is Star Trek. And Star Trek's always going to be the highest engagement at this point. So, huge engagement. I look at that just as much as YouTube. And honestly, sometimes more than YouTube. I mean, just because Patreon is the reason I'm doing this full time. Like, Patreon is the reason this is a real thing. It's because of you guys. So... people really reacting to Urkel, pro Urkel crowd. How can you not be? Are you more of a Stefan fan? Instead of Steve Urkel, you prefer Stefan? Ian Myers, what's up, man? What up, fellas? Just wrapped up a bike ride. My legs cooked. How are y'all? I need to get some damn exercise. I wish I was on a bike right now. Guys, would you watch the live stream if I was on a Peloton? Just fucking sweating. Fucking fat shaking everywhere. One time, this was a few years ago. No, Josh, thank you for being honest. This was a few years ago. We got an email. There's so many spam of like, sponsorship type emails that you get as a channel. We got one, and it was like, not spam in the sense that this might have been real, but it's like never anything I would actually do. We had like maybe 5,000 subscribers at this time, and we got a email of a company that wanted to send us an exercise bike, not something as nice as like a Peloton, but like a $99 exercise bike. And they're like, we'll send you this for free, make a full video about it. And I was just laughing so hard because I'm like, imagine you guys are like subscribed to our channel, this reaction channel, and then all of a sudden you see a full video of just me just like doing a review of a cheap exercise bike. That's fucking hilarious. You used to watch a dude react to music on a treadmill? Okay, yeah, now if that's your thing, like if that's what your channel is, then yeah, go ahead, do it. All new Doctor Who Book Club podcast wouldn't be a live stream without you. How you doing, man? Well, I don't know if you're a man, but, gender neutral phrase. There's a short 25-minute PBS documentary, Day in the Life at a Trek Convention with Marina Sirtis, that aired right after All Good Things for a post-TNG reaction. I'll ask the Bridge crew about that in the Discord. I don't know, if there's nothing that's like Generations related or any promotion like that in there, then we could give it a watch, because that sounds cool. Also, can you even find it? Like, is it available to watch? It's free on YouTube and has 0 post All Good Things content. Okay, I'll get that confirmed by the Bridge crew, and if they confirm that, then yeah, I would love to watch that. I mean, that could even be something I watch here live on stream, because I don't think a PBS documentary is going to be something I get taken down for. So, but speaking of that, let's jump over. We've been doing this for what? We've been going almost an hour now. Let's jump over. I'm going to pull up the CapCut. As I said earlier, I'm going to be working on a trailer for what is it called? Profit and Loss, the Deep Space Nine episode. Now I got to be careful doing this. Like I said, I can't get copyrighted, so I can't play too much of it. But if you guys send any super chats or anything like that, I'll be jumping in. I'm still paying attention to the chat. But first of all, tell me if this is. I'm just gonna play this. Tell me if this is too loud. The best part is that too loud? Not loud enough? Is that too loud? Is that still too loud? Very loud. RIP headphone users. Alright, how about now? Is that better? Much better? I love much better, not any quieter. Wait, what? I can't hear you for all the noise. For all the noise! Alright. I'm going to keep it right here. I'm going to keep it right there. Badger, $2. Thank you. Would love to watch you in Josh's editing room more. This is kind of a test for that. Obviously, in the Bridge crew, in the Discord, there's a room, Josh's editing room, that I used like one time when I first started, and my computer was so ass I could never do it. So I'm kind of testing this out to make sure everything works. That is something I would like to use more. But I have to, it looks like it's working fine. But yeah, I would like to do that. How about instead of making it quieter, you just scream for the rest of the stream and we lower our volume? Oh, that's funny. You guys are funny. Star Trek Iborg. Did you get more engagement with Battlestar Galactica, the only show that matters? Besides Star Trek. Yeah, just a unique case there. Just a unique case. I think the engagement was fine overall. It did drop just like what I was saying earlier. I don't know if you were here, Star Trek Iborg, but, you know, it started off miniseries, one of our most watched videos ever. First episode of the show, did pretty well, and then it dropped off as it went on. But in terms of engagement on Patreon, if I remember correctly, I mean, we had a lot less patrons then, but I do think it did pretty well. Just different reasons for not continuing that one. You've been around, you know, you've heard it 100 times, but thanks for introducing me to Band of Horses. Great music. Yeah, they're good. All right. So I need to find the part in this song that's going to be like the drop of the trailer. So I always kind of focus the trailer around what is the drop, or like what is the moment where it, you know, kicks up. So we're going to find where that is in the song here. That's too early. I think it's this. Usually it's when the audio wave just becomes this. That's typically where it drops, right? There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and clip it here. And you can ignore the episode. The episode footage is just thrown in here right now. This isn't edited at all. So what I want to do is we can go ahead and delete that. And then what we can do is make this a little bit longer. And then I'm going to isolate the voice on this. And this is hit or miss. Some songs this will work perfectly, and some songs it'll be ass. So we're going to find out. Oh, show me how to love you. All right, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So now what we're going to do, usually from my experience, it depends on how different or how unique the vocal is from the music of the sound. So that's pretty good. So now what we'll do is drag that over a little bit, and I'm going to paste that, get the same clip, and I'm going to get rid of the isolation so it has the music in there. And then I'm going to lay this over top of it. So down here is just the vocals. And then, by the way, I'm a completely self-taught rookie amateur at all of this. So I'm not saying that this is good, okay? I'm just saying this is what I do. So, so that's where I want the beat to kick in. So I'll just pull this back. That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. Okay. Because basically the difference is I'll have a clip playing right here. I'll have a clip playing. And this will come in. This will fade in. Probably like right here. And then it'll change right there into boom, something. So if I isolate the vocal, because if I just let it play, I mean, it's not that big. That's where I gotta make the decision. not that much of a difference. I think we got some super chats. Just another geek. Can't thank you guys enough for this journey. As someone who's absorbed Star Trek all his life, you help me remember what makes it so important. Thank you. I appreciate that. What makes it so important? The characters. All right. Before we jump into this, I got to do a favor for my bridge crew. So, over on the bridge crew, they get all of our uncut reactions as soon as they're uploaded. They don't gotta wait. So, let's see if it's done uploading. Looks like it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link to my bridge crew Discord for all good things. And if you're here and you're in the bridge crew Discord and you want to leave and go watch this reaction, I do not blame you. Or if you want to watch it later, you can do that too. And I'm going to put in here, okay. Being in the bridge crew, please do not spoil this reaction here. Let everyone have time to see it. All right. That's done. When do us peasants get to watch All Good Things reaction on YouTube? As soon as we get there in release order. 3 episodes a week. I have this goal here I just threw up here. If we hit the goal on stream, I'll do 4 episodes this upcoming week. But besides that, we'll do 3 a week as normal. And that'll take, let's see, let's look at the calendar. Let's look at the calendar. So we got, let's just assume 3 a week. Next week we have 16, 16, 17, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21, 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24, 24. So it looks like All Good Things would actually be the week of Christmas. So Merry Christmas. So it'll probably be... What if I actually uploaded it on Christmas? I could do that. And then at that point... Oh, Badger's probably already gone, but he said bye. Badger's in the bridge crew, so I think he went to go watch the reaction. At that point... we'll be getting back into actually watching it in real time around Christmas, so we can, as far as the YouTube, like I said, it'll probably only be like a 3-week break or so on YouTube. Because the following week, New Year's Eve, that would be finishing Deep Space Nine Season 2 on YouTube. So. The finale is not in 2 parts. We watched it as a 90-minute episode. It'll be uploaded as a 90-minute episode. However, the reaction, the discussion, and the patron takes will all be separate YouTube videos. But the reaction part, it'll all be, one video. Drew Blood is late. What did they miss? What did I miss? You know that Drake song? What did I miss? You guys should do some non-Star Trek movie reactions during the Star Trek break. We are going to be doing a lot of different types of stuff, but there will be Star Trek reactions as well. I think we got some more super chats. Alan. Alan. Alan Schoolcraft. Sick name. Is that your real name? I want to join your Patreon, but I don't have Paramount Plus. Why is it that some other reactors say you don't need to have your own copy? How do they get away with it? I can't speak to quote-unquote how they get away with it. What I would say is, first of all, every reactor is going to do whatever they want to do. It's not like when you... It's not like if I went on Patreon right now and I just posted a full episode or a full movie that I have on my computer, it's not like I'm going to hit post and then like the police are going to bust down my door, you know, like that meme, and come in SWAT team. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, in theory, you could do it, but it's against not only, if you're in America, fair use and copyright law, it's also against Patreon's terms of service. Eventually you can do whatever you want, but like if you get caught, you're going to get shut down. And so, I mean, it's just like, it is what it is. Now, there are some reaction channels, especially recently, and a few of them that I know for a fact are outside of the United States, where obviously laws differ around the world, but, you know, Star Trek is made in the United States, so I assume that's where the law matters. But regardless, there are other channels that have made that decision, that they feel that their commentary or reaction is enough of a fair use to justify using the entire thing, and to where you don't have to sync up your own copy. We will never do that. So that just is what it is. So if you want to find a channel out there that includes the full thing, you know, you're free to do that. But based on my understanding of that law, and also just in general, I am not here to sell you a way to watch Star Trek. I'm here to sell you our reaction and our commentary. So that's what is on Patreon. You go there to access our full content. Now, we do include a blurred image of of what we're watching, muted and blurred, so you can only kind of see the color to kind of match up. There's also a time code, and there's also very short clips, like at the beginning, halfway through of the show, to just help you sync up for just a few seconds. But beyond that, we don't include anything else. So if you don't have someone who doesn't have Paramount Plus, you don't have it on DVD, I totally understand that. You know, that's not... I have tried so many different ways to make Patreon something that someone would want to do, even if they can't sync up, you know, offer different things outside of the uncut reactions. At the end of the day, I haven't really found anything yet at this point. So, you know, that is what it is. But, you know, yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. Syncing is so easy, I can get it almost perfect in just a few seconds. Yeah, and honestly, I don't think most people's issue is the actual syncing, like the process of it. I think like anything else, once you figure out how to do it within a few tries, like, it's fine. I think it's the access to it. If someone doesn't have Paramount Plus, or they don't have it on physical media, then they just don't have it. So it's like, it is what it is. And then if you're signing up for Patreon only for that, then basically buying something like Paramount Plus or the physical media is, in your eyes, essentially adding on to the cost of your Patreon membership. So I totally get it. Who's your favorite actor or actress in X-Files? I mean, only 10 episodes in, but gotta go with Scully. Gotta go with, that's not the actress, gotta go with Gillian Anderson. There's not that many actors in the show at this point. So, and it's not that I dislike David Duchovny, it's just, you know, Scully is based. Thanks for the answer, and yes, it's my real name. Well, good for you. You have a much cooler name than me. Physical media is the best option, but I'm poor. Fair enough. All right. I think that was all the super chats. Bunnytail says high praise for your channel. She watches your reactions after hers. Yeah, she's cool. She comments on our videos and stuff, you know. I know she just finished TOS recently. Good for her. It's always cool when other creators are in the space, you know? Do you think the Atlas could be aliens? Talking about the Atlas thing that's coming to Earth or whatever? No. I'm very, I'm pretty black-pilled on aliens. I feel like aliens definitely exist in terms of there is, if the universe is what we think it is, there are aliens somewhere. Like, it just mathematically doesn't make any sense. You know what, Mr. Dest, who said that? Bung Monkey, you're gonna send me down a rabbit hole I really don't want to get into on this stream, but do you guys want to hear it? Do you want to hear my bad alien theories? Thoughts on the dark forest theory? Is that you have to explain a little bit more? I'm not super familiar with the theory. I think I've heard it. Go for it. Okay. All right. So it goes into a whole bunch of things. Okay. First of all, I'm not an atheist. Okay, but I am not religious. My best guess, I don't even know what you would call this or what if there's like a theory for this, but my best guess, based on my limited experience here on this planet, is that there is something going on. Like, I don't think that we're here for no reason, or that, like, it just happened, you know? Like, and part of me thinks, like, oh, we only think that there has to be something else because it's so hard to comprehend the idea that over millions of years this all, evolved, and, we have main character syndrome and we can't comprehend that we're nothingness. And I get all that, and I think it's very possible. But I just don't think there's too much that doesn't make sense about humanity that would lead me to believe that like we just randomly became a thing and we're eventually one day going to die, and then the universe is going to go back to being quiet nothingness with no other, self-aware sentient species anywhere else. Maybe that's the small amount of optimism buried in my normal nihilism, but that's what I feel. But with that being said, I don't think anyone on this planet has any fucking idea what that is or what's going on. And I think every single idea or religion or theory we've ever had is like just guesses or people making things up. And, I think religion can be a really good thing on an individual or a community level. It can be something that brings people together. I think that's really good. I think the idea of like society being completely secular is not a good thing. But at the same time, I'm not going to like lie to myself and join a church or a religion just because I think it's good community-wise. So anyway, how does this relate to aliens? So the same way that we're here, and I think there's like a reason for that, I don't think we're like the center of the entire universe. Like, if the universe is what we think it is, like as a human race, what we've been able to observe, I think just like mathematically, we cannot be the only thing around. I do think that maybe there's a possibility, like if the universe is so incredibly old and stuff, that maybe there were things that existed way before and there are things that are going to exist way after and we just don't overlap. Like, that could very well be the case. But I think most likely there are creatures very similar to us that do exist, but we're never going to see them because they're never going to come here. And not just because of distance or technology, but because whatever's going on would not allow that to happen. And I don't mean like the government or something. I mean like whatever. If humanity and whatever these alien species are, maybe we're just different save files on whatever the program is that this being is doing. That's like the best way I can put it. But maybe that being decides one day to do a crossover episode. I don't know. But I think something's going on that's completely out of our hands, and none of us are going to know until we die. The good news is we're all going to die eventually, so we'll all find out. But, my prediction is that the question whether there is life in the solar system outside of Earth will become the question what we consider life. You can believe in life outside of ourselves without that being a supernatural god. Yeah, okay, yeah, I believe that. Yeah, Mr. Detsu says, ooh, Josh wants to believe. Yeah, that's basically pretty fair. So, like, using the X-Files as an example, I like the idea of it, right? Like, I want to believe. I would like to be someone like Mulder who wants to investigate all this stuff. But I'm more like Scully in the fact of, like, when Mulder walks into a government building and there's a UFO being worked on, I don't think that's happening. Like, I don't think Area 51 has, like, crafts and alien bodies. I think they just, like, do a bunch of secret shady shit. So to me, that's where the show dips into, like, more of the fantasy element or more of the fictional element. Not that the show's supposed to be real or something, but, like, I don't believe in aliens from, like, a conspiratorial standpoint. So relating that back to Atlas, no, I don't think Atlas is like an alien ship that's on its way here. And I also don't think it's like a government conspiracy. I don't know what it is, and I'm not smart enough. It's probably just a freaking asteroid. I don't know what it is. But that's why I enjoy like cryptids and alien stuff, because I look at it more as fiction, but a very interesting type of fiction where it's like the best thing about horror or sci-fi or, you know, supernatural stuff is putting it in a light where you can go, hey, look, you know this stuff 99.9% chance, like, this doesn't exist, it's not real, but, like, what if we could show you a way where you'd believe it was real? And it's like, oh, that's what I'm very interested in. How do you know the answers will be revealed after you die? I think the answer of what happens after I die will be revealed. Not necessarily that something will... Not the entire thing. Like, yeah, maybe I die and just get reincarnated as somebody else and don't know. Like, that could happen. But, in theory, my current Josh brain will have the answer to what happens to me because it'll be gone. So it won't exist. I think I'm kind of splitting hairs at that point, but yeah. Humankind is too incompetent to have kept aliens a secret successfully all this time, lol. That's my biggest problem with any conspiracy theory. I think 90+% of the time, it's not conspiracy, it's incompetency. And, you know, that goes for, like, most things. It's like, no one, I'm not even trying to, like, rag on just the US government. It's like, no one on the earth is smart when it comes to the vastness of the universe. We're only smart compared to other human brains. So it's like, it reaches a certain level where it's like no one's going to be able, especially throughout, like, decades. Like, let's say an alien did crash here on Earth in, you know, the Roswell incident. Maybe they could have kept that a secret for a few weeks. Like, not decades later. But, you know, I'll admit, there are times where, you know, I do see or hear stuff or stories or, like, you know, not like eyewitness accounts, but, like, you know, those videos that came out a few years ago that leaked from, they were classified and got leaked, of the crafts being recorded by the military or whatever, and they didn't know what it was. Like, you know, that pill or whatever, and, like, it got leaked, and then they confirmed it's real. Like, my mindset, I don't go to, oh, it's a conspiracy that's fake and they're leaking that. I think it truly did get leaked, and I think that no one knows what it is. But, like, I don't necessarily go straight to, it's an alien. And I also don't go straight to, it's a, you know, government craft. Like, I feel like there's probably this, it's weird, there's some answer there. I don't know what it is. But I think stuff like that genuinely gets leaked because people just, they can't help themselves, and there are people who want things But I don't think that the government has, a lineup of UFOs just stored in bases. I don't know. Does any of this matter? Obviously, the answer is that you meet Q and he gives you an opportunity to change things in your past and see how it might have affected the rest of your life. Yeah, 100%. All right. Let's get back to this gimmick. Okay. So, what we have to do now is find what scene we want to use. So this is going to be the drop. Show me how to let go. And we got to find what part of the episode we want to put there. And we will build it around that. So, if you happen to not ever see Profit... What is this? Profit and Loss? Is that what it's called? If you happen to have never seen this, spoilers. But, let's see. They do kiss at some point. Right? This will obviously be coming to YouTube within a couple of weeks. This is episode 18 of Deep Space Nine. Alright, is this the scene where they kiss? Oh, she shoots him. And then she kisses him, right? They kiss? There we go. Hey, okay. OMG, it's Quark. Spoilers. Not a fan of the music. I played like 4 seconds of it. You not a fan of the 4 seconds? Is there a winner in the what to watch next pool? I'm not sure what that means. The interstellar distances are so great. Okay, you guys are still talking about the alien stuff, all right. Now, this is pretty good. This could be the moment, but I am curious. I don't remember. Do they kiss again at all in the episode? Because there might be a better moment. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Do they kiss at the end? Oh, okay, they do. But are they both on screen? It's a close-up shot. Alright, I think the first kiss is probably better. Katie, thank you for the super chat. Wait, Katie, did you ever answer my question about your sister's name? Have you seen Air Force Intelligence Officer David Grush telling the U.S. Congress that the government is concealing information about aliens? It was a news feed from July. I remember following it at the time and all that going on. I don't know if he specifically said concealing information about aliens, but maybe he did. I don't know. I think he was more so, from my understanding, when all that was happening, it was more so like, very vaguely like, hey, things are being hidden that we don't know what they are. And I think that could very well be true. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Oh, okay. I'm looking at your previous messages. My mom's a huge fan and got me into it as a kid. Oh, sweet. Okay. I've said before that my dad watched TNG and X-Files when I was a kid and never got me into either, but not really his fault. My parents divorced when I was 5, so that could have been a similar story. How do you pick the music for these trailers? Just a bunch of different ways. It could be just a song I randomly come across. So, like, for example, I had no intention of really making a trailer for this, but there was a bit of a gap in the episode trailers. Like, it goes from the last one I made was, I think, Whispers, right? In terms of the release order. And then I hadn't made another one until Genesis and Blood Oath both have one. So there's a little bit of a gap there. And I was like, is there any episode that would, be good enough, or one that I would care for enough and has enough footage to make a trailer, 90-second trailer? And then I came across this song, and I was like, I've never done a trailer that's more of a romance episode. Like Lessons, for example, was the very first trailer I ever made. That could have been like more of a romance trailer, but I made it as like a big epic trailer because it was the first one I did, and it's more so focused on the epicness of it. So I was like, let's do more of like a straight up, like what if it was like a romance film, was my idea. And this episode happened to be in that batch of episodes where I'm not going to spoil too much about what we think about the episode, but the Quark and romance with a Cardassian woman here, I forget her name, that's kind of the point of the episode. So it is kind of the main focus, which is rare for Star Trek, obviously. I mean, there's relationships in Star Trek, but to have an episode where that's the main focus, like a Second Chances or something, is a little bit more rare. So if we go where they kiss. So I want the moment the beat hits to be right there. So we can go ahead and get rid of that. Section this part off. And we'll go ahead and paste it there. Boom. How long does this go for? Oh, drag this out.
Show me how to let go.
And then we can go.
Show me how.
Like right here. And then I think this would be a good zoom out. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and... Now, usually, I'm doing this a little bit differently because I'm doing it on stream. Usually, I would wait to do any like camera movement stuff or like editing of the clip until after I'm done with the whole like actual trailer edit. I just put in the clips in first, and then I edit like all the camera movements, editing, coloring, all that stuff. But since I'm doing this on stream, just to show you guys kind of what I like to do, I'll just do it now. So I think this will be a good zoom out. So I'll start it. You don't want it to be too ridiculous. Like right there. And then... add another keyframe, and we'll go outward with it. And we can go ahead and also got to adjust it. This is auto adjust tool, which is pretty good, but it does way too much, so I always turn it down quite a bit because I mean that's ridiculous. Just kind of turn it down, just brightens it up a little bit, and then I'd probably put some type of filter on it too, but I'm not going to do that right now. And then we can go.
Show me how to let go. Tell me how to.
I like that. Is that too? I like that. Now we're cooking with gas. Favorite edit of yours is still the Jean-Luc Beverly short. The Clarity short. That was pretty good. Also, Josh, you're brave to do these live streams. Why I'm brave? Oh, thank you. I'll take the compliment. Reban Ruben, runabout chicka bow wow. Am I right? Take another super chat. Oh, Mesa TV. Thank you for the $3. Appreciate it. Off the cuff while doing something else and managing multiple conversations and keeping stuff light. No, I appreciate it, yeah. It's not that, you know, there's harder jobs in the world, but thank you. So now I have to find a clip that would be right before this. Now, the only thing about me is I'm trying to get better at this. But all my trailer edits are pretty, like, formulaic, right? Like, you kind of know what you're going to get. So, like, you know, for me, a lot of times you start off, it's dialogue heavy, music quiet, setting up the episode, music fades, some type of dialogue moment, boom, music hits, you go into the highlight reel version of the trailer, up to the climax, maybe with some dialogue moments also thrown in there. You know, that's kind of my basic formula. I try to mix it up more, but honestly, this is the hard part, the dialogue, because, like, I don't remember. You know what I mean? Like, I don't fucking remember, like, what's a good part of this episode where they actually say something, you know, like, worthy of that big moment. And that's why a lot of times it is easier to make the edit, like, closer to right after watching it, because then I, you know, have it fresher in my mind. But what's, like, a good scene? They have a pretty good conversation right before this, I think, right?
They get the cloaking device, and you stay with me. That way everyone's happy.
Okay, they're talking about plot. Okay, you gotta, like, make it to where, you know, it's not just talking about plot. Josh, how do you enjoy editing, or would you want to offload that to outside help if when you have the budget? When it comes to just editing the weekly reactions, YouTube reactions, I would absolutely love to offload that to somebody. My wife has been a tremendous help with that, but, you know, she's busy. She has a full-time job. She's back in school now as well. You know, doesn't have a ton of time for it, and obviously I'm also not paying her in the traditional sense. So, you know, I would love to have that. It's just, you know, I just now, a few months ago, reached the point where I'm comfortable enough to go full time. So the idea of paying an editor, you know, is just, we're not there yet. But I would love to eventually do that. Basically, if the YouTube were to get big enough to where there's enough money from the YouTube edits to justify it, to where I'm not actively losing money by paying someone to edit a YouTube video that'll make less than what I'm paying them, then, you know, that can make sense. Thank you, Darkstorm, very much for the super chat. I appreciate that. You're going to be 60 in less than 6 months. Well, congratulations, Rick. That's awesome. Dimitri, I edit in DaVinci Resolve for my regular videos, and then this right here is CapCut for my edits. Okay. Anyway, let's see.
I'm not part of your life.
But you are. You always have been.
It's a possibility. You are, you always have been. That's possible.
Don't you understand? Since you left me, not a day goes by that I don't regret what I did, and now you're asking me to lose you again.
So yeah, I have to chop it up as I play it because I don't want to get taken down. But would kill for good AI vid editing. Oh, like an AI that can just edit the vid for you and not be complete shit? Yeah, that'd be nice. I don't think we're really close to that, though. Unless you're talking about, like, the most basic editing there is. Which, then again, reactions editing is pretty basic, to be fair.
A long time ago.
All right. Let me hear you say there isn't a spark of love left in you.
There isn't a spark of love left in me.
I heard that.
What?
There has to be a point where she says she loves him or something, right?
I didn't want to have to get it this way, but I need that device.
Okay, she shoots him. All right, we're gonna have to find a different scene. Is there a scene where he talks about his past with her? She smacks him here. Boom. Does he talk about knowing her here?
That's enough for Cullen.
How much time editing do you spend on a standard reaction video? If we're talking just YouTube, I've gotten pretty good at them, especially with my new computer as well. I've been getting back into editing them, and I've gotten pretty quick with it now that I have the good technology to do so. So I'd say a YouTube reaction for a 45-minute episode, I could probably get done within an hour and a half, maybe an hour if I'm really getting through it. And then when it comes to the hard part is, especially with Star Trek, is the everything else, and everything else gets done on the uncut side. So the good thing about that is that when I go to do the YouTube edit, all I have to do is edit that reaction, and then I basically can just plug it in to the already edited uncut version, and just do a few changes, like put in the patron credits and stuff, which takes 10 minutes. But on the uncut side, it takes up a lot of my time because of those discussions. I have to watch the discussions in full so I can take out, edit them, take out whatever. And then also editing in the patron takes, I screenshot those from Patreon and edit them all in individually. So editing I think I said it earlier, but editing an uncut Star Trek reaction, probably 3 to 4 hours, as to where any other uncut reaction, as long as we don't do something crazy like take 4 breaks during it or something, but like a movie uncut reaction or X-Files or anything else where we're not doing the full discussion, I can get edited within like half an hour. But that's also not even taking into account things like burning the footage from the discs to my computer, importing the footage from my camera. I mean, if you're including all of that, then you're looking at extra hours upon hours. But actually me sitting here actively editing, I would say probably 3 to 4 hours for a Star Trek uncut. And then, no, that's too much. That's too much. If I'm just talking about the sitting here editing, maybe 2 to 3 hours for Star Trek, and then like half an hour to an hour for anything else. And then on the YouTube side, about an hour and a half, I'd say. And then also the thumbnail, the uploading, all that. That's all extra time too. So a lot goes into it. After she shot and kissed him, there's a good line there. Have you seen Weapons? I think it would get a lot of views. Well, from a reaction sense, we saw Weapons in theaters, so no reaction to that coming. But we did record a discussion for it that has never been released, so that might release at some point. It's just so down on the priority list that it's not out there yet, but that may eventually come out. My main camera is, Alex and I both have the same camera. It's the Sony ZV-E10. Roughly $1,000 if you wanted to buy it with. We just use the lens that comes on it. All right. What does he say here?
Whatever you have to know, I was the love of her life.
Dislike or hate?
It's none of your business.
I said I didn't drink these anymore.
Thank you for another enjoyable...
I haven't heard a rule of acquisition in 7 years, and I don't want to hear one now.
So, how long are you going to...
Sixto's in the house. What's up, Sixto? Bro's running a co-working stream. Yeah. We do have a goal going on. Did I get another super chat? I think I got them all. We do have this goal going on for 4 episodes this week on YouTube. If we hit that goal, I think there's about an hour and a half left. A little over an hour left. But if not, that's all right. But yeah, just hanging out on Saturday, doing a little bit of miscellaneous editing. I just edited the All Good Things uncut reaction for Patreon, so that's uploading. So I figured I'd have earned a little free time to edit. This is like, that's funny. That's my life. Like, oh, I earned a little free time, not to do something else that's a hobby of mine or anything. Still just editing for the channel, but just something else that I like to do, editing a trailer.
If you don't stay with me, I'll have to follow you, and I will. Wherever you go, until you agree to take me back.
You don't even know who I am anymore.
Quark got swagger. I couldn't pull a Cardassian that hot. Can you edit dreads into Quark? See you later, Drew Blood.
I'll take that chance.
That could be good. What'd she say?
Following me will only get you killed.
I'll take that chance.
All right, we could use this. Doing my part. Also, Twin Peaks wink. Twin Peaks is let me look it up real quick. Twin Peaks. What is the lore here? American surrealist mystery horror drama television series. What is the episode count? So we got 8 episodes in season 1, 22 episodes in season 2, Fire Walk With Me movie, and then 18 episodes in season 3. Is that all there is? Wasn't there another... There's no other films or anything? There's like a later reboot or something, isn't there? Thank you for the super chat, Dr. Butt Lasers. The second line in the trailer, you don't know me anymore? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I look at that first season of Twin Peaks, I see 8 episodes first season, I go, that looks good to me. We gotta watch that at some point for sure. All right, so now that we got this dialogue moment here,
Following me will only get you killed.
I'll take that chance.
we're gonna go ahead and isolate these vocals, get rid of all the station noise and possible score in the background, but there wasn't a ton of score here, so that's pretty good in terms of isolating the vocal, makes that easier. And then I can go ahead and turn that up.
Following me will only get you killed.
I'll take that chance.
And then we can go ahead and see if this will work right before. So if we put that here. So we'll have some music playing over here. So let's go ahead and take this, drag it out, splice it there. Just splice it here for now. What we got?
I was around. They let me know.
Fade this out.
Following me will only get you.
That's too quick.
Following me will only get you. Following me will only get you killed.
I'll take that chance.
No. He's got to be done talking before that. That's pretty good. Okay. So we'll go right here, split that. Take this and make this go to the speed. We're going to go and slow that down. Make that long enough. And then there's a pretty cool tool here to smooth the slow-mo optical flow. And it makes it not look like all blurry and shitty when you slow-mo it. Now this is Deep Space Nine. So this is DVD quality. So everything I do on TNG, you know, TNG is so nice to edit with because it's Blu-ray remastered. And you go to edit on Deep Space Nine, sometimes it can be rough. But let's see.
Take that chance.
Show me how to love.
I think we gotta trim this back a little bit.
How to love. Show me how to love. How to love.
I don't know. I might need it to just kick in right here.
How to love you.
Because I feel like the impact is at its greatest if it just cuts right to it.
How to love you.
Is that fair? For some reason, I thought Alex was making these while you did the YouTube reactions. Yeah, so I make the cinematic trailers. Alex does a lot of the... Well, we both do the vertical style edits. We both do those. I did, for example, the Lower Decks one that was posted recently. But he makes those too. He also makes a lot of non-Star Trek edits, like other types of edits of stuff he likes that he posts on his personal channel. For me, at this point, all of my edits have been Star Trek related, and for the most part, they're these cinematic trailers. But once in a while, I'll do one like the Lower Decks one that's a more vertical short form.
Following me will only get you killed.
I'll take that chance.
Show me how to love you.
Did the zoom on this go away? Why is it not zooming? There we go.
How to love you. Tell me how to hold you.
There we go. He'll be making Robin Hood edits soon. Well, Webb is an annual member of the Bridge Crew. He, for his movie reaction, requested Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. So we'll be watching that uncut reaction on the Patreon. But Webb's first movie request was Ravenous, and that is still the only one up to this point that has been edited for YouTube. So congratulations on that. But there are a number of them that we did watch this past year that I do want to eventually edit for YouTube. Definitely The Changeling, because that fits into the horror gallery. There are a few other ones too. The Quiet Earth was a really fun one. The Black Hole could be a fun one to edit. Definitely going to do Return of the Living Dead for the horror gallery. We watched that one. But then there's a lot of like bigger name ones that we watch that I think might do good views wise, but I don't know if I have the intention of editing them. Like Field of Dreams, Tucker and Dale versus Evil could be a horror gallery. Excalibur could be one that does well. So we'll see. But these are all obviously lower on the priority list. Jack Reacher, yeah, we did that recently. By the way, Harry, we did watch Children of Men. That is coming very soon. I just wanted you to know. We watched it a couple weeks ago. That is coming very soon. Your pick to the Patreon. All right. So I think we got the main drop here.
Following me will only get you killed.
I'll take that chance.
Show me how to love you.
So this needs to be, I think this needs to be even earlier.
Following me will only get... Following me will only get you killed.
I'll take that chance.
Show me how to love you. Tell me how to hold you.
All right. Never seen Children of Men. So looking forward to that. Yeah, I think that'll be a fun one. We also recently watched, just on our own, we decided to, because I had interest, we watched Tron and Tron Legacy. Those will be coming to the Patreon during that Star Trek break. And funny enough, in Tron Legacy, at the beginning, this isn't a spoiler, I don't think. In the beginning, they're in a kid's room, and there's a poster for the black hole on the kid's wall. I thought that was pretty funny. All right, I think we got a pretty good start here.
Following me will only get you killed.
I'll take that chance.
Show me how to love you. Tell me how to hold you.
All right, I think we're cooking. So stay tuned for that soon. That will be coming soon at some points. But we're going now for going on 2 hours, so we'll start to wrap it up here shortly. Doesn't look like we're gonna hit the goal probably, but that's all right. Still doing 3 episodes a week, and a lot of fun ones coming up. And I'm gonna get editing them here in the next couple of days for this upcoming week, which will be next up is Thine Own Self. And then the TNG episode, and then Shadowplay, and then Masks. Black Hole posting a reaction. Well, the Black Hole, all of our movie reactions are full watch along on Patreon. So probably, I said a few minutes ago, the Black Hole could be a fun one to eventually edit for YouTube, but it's not on like the immediate to-do list. We also recently watched Colossus, the Forbin Project. That's on Patreon. That could be one I would also like to edit. I know that that's a big sci-fi one, but again, just not on the immediate priority list. Next X-Files is Ice. Yeah, we've watched X-Files up through episode 10, so those will be coming in the next few weeks. For the goal, are you just looking at number of super chats or the total value? The goal is set up for yellow super chats, which I believe in American dollars is $10, and it's 30 of them, so that is the goal. But I'll probably be wrapping up here in a little bit, so unless there's a huge surge, I don't suspect to hit it, but that's all right. Genesis will be fun. Yeah, we've already don't do the Patreon thing. What do you mean? Don't do the Patreon thing as in don't have a Patreon? What? Do one of these to 2 X-Files episodes a week and I will donate the whole amount. That would be a lot of work, man. I mean, we're already at 3 Star Trek a week, 2 X-Files a week. You're talking 5 out of 7 days a week right there. I mean, that's tough. If we were still at 2 episodes of Star Trek a week, then I might consider 2 X-Files a week. And I'm not saying it can never happen. If we get really into the show and it's doing really well, then we might get there eventually. But, even with Star Trek, it took us until, I think season 3 of TOS before we started doing 2 a week. So, don't do Patreon, do OF. All right, Chris, man, that's cool. Enjoy your freedom. You can do what you please. Not sure what you want me to do about it. Pluribus, yeah, that's the Vince Gilligan show, right? I've heard good things, but I haven't watched Breaking Bad. I don't know if that matters. I know it's not connected, but same guy. All right. Well, I'm going to get wrapping up. As far as what's coming up, today, this upcoming week, we have on Patreon, huge day tomorrow, all good things for early access tiers, uncut reaction. And then for everybody on Patreon on Monday, huge day there, very last TNG full uncut reaction. So that's coming. And then last 2 episodes of Deep Space Nine later in the week. And then as far as, of Deep Space Nine Season 2. And then as far as YouTube, as I just said a few minutes ago, 3 episodes will be coming, as well as X-Files on Friday, and if I have the time and energy, a horror gallery video on Wednesday. Whoa, Dr. Butt Lasers, thank you so much. Purple Man voice, fine, I'll do it myself. All right, well, you know what? That is very generous of you. You know what? So, everyone in the chat, let's thank Dr. Butt Lasers. That is not how the YouTube goal works, but I'm going to say it counts anyway, because that is a very generous super chat. So, let's go ahead and let's make it official. I'll do 4 reactions this week. So that'll be Thine Own Self on Monday, Shadowplay on Tuesday, Masks on Wednesday, and then I believe Playing God on Thursday, the Deep Space Nine episode, which would then mean that the following week would be Genesis, right? Genesis on Monday? Or no? What's before Genesis? In TNG. Oh, Eye of the Beholder! Eye of the Beholder! Eye of the Beholder. And then Profit and Loss this episode. And then we'll end the week with Genesis. I think that's pretty good. And then we'll go into the next week with, what is that, Thanksgiving week? We'll be going into it with, let me pull up the calendar. When is Thanksgiving week? 2 weeks from now, right? So we 4 this upcoming week. Oh, it's the 27th. Okay, so yeah, Thanksgiving week then would be Blood Oath. Episode 20 of TNG, I think, is Journey's End. And then, you know what? This is just a goal. I think I'll have the time to do this, but I'm not sure. The Maquis is a 2-parter. No, I can't do it. You know what? Never mind. I was gonna say I could edit it as 1, but they aired TNG between it, so never mind. I'm sorry, but we'll do Maquis Part 1, and then obviously TNG Maquis Part 2. All right. Well, everyone thank Dr. Butt Lasers for reaching that goal for everybody. And this has been really fun. Nice Saturday stream. Appreciate you guys being here. I always like to end the stream with one random non-Star Trek question. So you can throw those in the chat. I'll give you a couple minutes, and I will answer one or more of them if they're funny. And then I'll leave you guys for the rest of your weekend. If you're on Patreon, I hope you enjoy the All Good Things reaction coming. And I'm very excited for the end of the year here for the channel. So any non-Star Trek question, you can go ahead and throw it in. Also, I got this new chair. I just got this yesterday. Much better than my old one. A lot more back support. I don't instantly get back pain and leg pain from sitting in this for 5 to 10 minutes, so... How did Alex and I meet? All right, I'll answer that one. I know some people probably know the answer, but Alex and I met in 6th grade. We went to the same school, and we walked home from school, And one day, we just randomly walked together. We weren't friends or anything. But I knew he knew some kids that I hung out with, and I was new to that city that year. We walked home. My cousin's house was only 10 houses down from the school, so I had a short walk. So we walked home, we met each other, talked for a little bit. It was chill. We were both chill. 6th grade, right? 11, 12 years old, whatever. Then I don't see him again because we weren't in the same class or anything. I ended up moving. My family moved a lot when I was younger, but all in the same Northeast Ohio area, but just moved around a lot. I moved. I don't see him again for 2 years. And then in 8th grade, I go back to that same city, go back to their school. We eventually become friends. I think it was around end of freshman year through mutual friends. And then we really connected over wrestling because Alex, I've been a wrestling fan since I was like 4 years old, but Alex became a wrestling fan in high school and knew I liked wrestling. So then we started talking about that and became really good, and then became best friends in high school, and then graduated, went to wrestling school, and then the rest is history, as you say. But it's always, I think, funny because we met each other originally, had that moment, and then didn't become friends for a few years. So that was fun. And yeah, and we were lovers ever since, absolutely. Where do you aim on urinals to avoid splashback? It's right above, so if this is the back of the urinal, and then let's say like here's the hole down here, you want to hit right at the bottom of the back side. Like right at the bottom of the back, and it'll just drop in. It won't splash up. If you hit any higher, it'll bounce back at you. If you go too low, like right into the hole, it'll splash up. You want to hit right above, right at the bottom, like at a almost like a 45-degree angle. That's from my experience. All right, thanks everyone. That's going to do it. I will see you all later. Everyone have a good weekend.